I've got a
Really?
headache this big, and its name is Reviewer's Web.
So, are we gonna? Last week we kind of, since we're doing our favorite episode, we kind of went out of order last time. We kind of just went straight in. Are we gonna do a thing like we usually do? Like introduce ourselves and stuff, or are we just gonna go straight in?
We're gonna properly introduce ourselves. That was my fault last week. You can all be mad at
Okay.
me.
Okay. Status quo. It is.
That just tastes like poison! Where's the creamy filling?
Really, Jasper? Poison with creamy filling?
Yes.
Would you say it's cream cheese filling?
Just so you know, I am staring at you with the most bitter-hearted contentment, which means I am content with your existence, but at the same time, I am also planning on slashing your tires tonight!
Are we live?
Yes, I just pressed the button as he said slashing your tires tonight. Friendship is magic, isn't it?
Listen, there is a perfectly valid reason why he's going to slash everybody's tires. Spoilers! The answer is he breathes through his skin.
Somehow that makes even less sense to me! I make no...
I'm in agreement. That makes even less sense.
Let's just start, Fiaura. This is just going into insanity.
Should I start the episode?
Yes, please. It's going insane here.
It is Jasper. We did expect it to go nuts, but okay, I'll press the button. Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Reviewer's Web. We're gonna, we have Josh, Scorcher, and Ari for next week, but for this week, well, Golden Fox decided that Jasper would get to have fun this week, so we're going over Jasper's favorite episode. But before we do that, and before we even tell you which one it is suggested that everyone introduce themselves. So, go ahead, guys.
We start from top to bottom or bottom to top?
Let's do bottom to top. Brony Critic, you're up.
All right, I actually just got back to the microphone. Was getting some food. I am the Brony Critic. I focus primarily on fan content and fan reviews. I was actually really excited when I heard what this episode was going to be because, I actually thoroughly enjoyed this episode when it came out. So, yeah, I'm just going to move it right on to Shoujo.
We can't hear
I think we can't hear
Jojo?
you.
We see
You
you
know what?
writing up, but no words are coming out.
You know what?
We
I
can't
think you
hear
didn't
you.
know he was muted the whole time.
Alright, so Shoujo is having a bit of an issue. We'll let him get that fixed. In the meantime, Moon Knight.
Hello everyone, I'm Moon Knight, and I think this episode was pretty funny. I gotta say I didn't really know Jasper Pies, if he already wanted to kill my tires, I think he wants to kill me now. I really didn't know who Weird Al Yankovic was.
Hello, everybody. This is your super awesome Ace Analyst Master Code here, reviewing all the ponies from all the media to the comics to the TV series and everything in between. Yes, it is I once again, and we're going to be reviewing this episode, of which we shall reveal, or maybe we haven't revealed it. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention because I was getting high. I mean, something else. Anyway, I'm Jasper.
Alright, Jasper. So, with your introduction, since this is your episode, please do tell us what the episode is.
first of all, hello. This is the Pizza Pone. I do the audio editing, and I make comics when I'm not overloaded with writing. Always writing, never-ending writing. Ideas floating through my brain, being forced to make my fingers dance upon the keyboard that is our existence. And also, I just want to get this out of the way. Moon Knight, about what I said. Just rest assured, I don't want to kill you any more than I want to kill Master Code, and that is a lot.
And that's all we can ask for.
Okay.
And as for what today's
not-
episode is, I'll admit I don't have much of an emotional attachment to many episodes, but for today, I chose my very favoriteest, Pinky Pride from Season 4, and I shall divulge why afterwards.
And I am Insane Spyro, the greatest dragon in gaming, reviewer, let's player, game pundit extraordinaire, and the artiste of this little rabble. And I liked this episode, except for one thing, and I'll let you go on to Golden.
You know, this might just be me, but before Golden starts, I want to say one thing. I didn't realize Spyro had an accent that sounded vaguely British.
It's because I am British.
He's British!
Yes, but you say Insane Spyro, and I see cute little purple dragon that destroys everything, and then I hear a British voice, and I go, what?
I thought he was Norwegian.
I thought he was Scotland!
You got a problem with that, ponies?
In the meantime,
Golden.
Golden.
Okay, am I ready to go?
yes.
Do it, Philly.
Don't call me a filly. Hey everybody, I'm Golden Fox. I review episodes of MLP, movie reviews, and I stream Let's Plays on Twitch.
And I am Fiaura the Tank Girl, your host. I also stream Drunken Writing, Fallout Equestria, and we play some MechWarrior Battletech around here. But in the meantime, who would like to open the door? Oh, and one other thing. Jasper, please do understand that if we criticize this episode, it's not that we're criticizing you. It's that we are saying that there are ways to improve it.
Okay, you didn't need to tell me that, because I had one thing I wanted to bring up, actually.
Oh dear.
I didn't want to interrupt, but can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Shoujo leaves! Shoujo, introduce!
Oh, okay. Hey there, everybody. Shoujo here, and we're back with another episode of Reviewers Web. And I gotta say, I kind of was on the low ball for this to getting here on time, but I'm here, and I got a few things I want to say about this episode because I did like it.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, did we want to let Jasper start this train off, and then we work through our likes and don't likes about this one?
Invisible.
Yeah.
Since it's his episode, we should let him take center stage.
Hands Jasper a microphone, takes cover.
If I am nominated to Miss America, I will bring honor to my tiara. Oh wait, wrong speech. Alright, so the main reason I really love this episode is for three things. One, Weird Al Yankovic. Two, it's a musical, and I've always been a personal fan of musicals. And three, it's a Pinky episode where she emotionally develops! Yay! That, to me, is a triple threat. I am now traumatized by what Fiaura put in the chat, and I am judging her on the inside.
You mentioned the Miss America pageant. That's
I said nothing about a bikini.
Okay.
That is literally you.
okay.
And we have next week's artwork.
Listen,
In the
don't. Well, no,
meantime-
because next week's got to involve the special guest. But don't worry, because we already had him in a tutu when he was saying, "I want to be a ballerina pizzeria."
In the meantime, for those of you who are new asking if you can join, you may post questions in chat and I will collect them for the end of the chat. In the meantime, Jasper, you said you had something bad about this episode?
Yeah, there was one. Well, kind of two things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. One, everyone was so eager to sing this whole. This must be more to this provincial life about how Pinky is so great, and then immediately the minute Cheese shows up, they jump on the cheesy bandwagon. Like, what about the pink one? Yeah, she arranged your quinceanera. She was there when you were born. She probably babysits your children on every other Saturday. I don't know, maybe it kind of bugs me when people just immediately jump on the bandwagon the minute something somewhat cooler comes around.
So.
And another thing, which I think everyone could kind of agree on, Cheese mentions near the end that Pinky was the one who inspired him to be a party pony, which is great, really heartwarming, but just one little minor detail. Why didn't you mention that sooner? Or build it up?
Calm down, Jasper. Calm down.
I will not calm down! Have you met me? I am the Jasper Pie!
Fiaura, I tried
Okay,
calming
you
down
mentioned
Jasper
Jasper.
before.
Yes, but you're peeking every last single thing I have.
Spyro, can you get the meds that you give freaking Miyamoto to put him to?
I mean, Miyamoto's an old man, so like those meds are nice and calming. For Jasper, we'd need something a lot stronger.
So, Jasper, I have an honest question. I have an honest question for you. How would you fix that complaint?
Which complaint?
Everybody jumping on the bandwagon. How would you fix it?
I don't know, I'd probably just tone down a bit on the compliments, because every 5 seconds since Cheese went around, it's just been another, ooh, it's so amazing, so great, it's so awesome. Or at least maybe just like not have as many ponies jumping on the bandwagon.
Or my thought would have been that let's say Applejack, Flutters, and Twilight attended the party in Appaloosa and invited Cheese Sandwich to come to a Rainbow Dasher party, not knowing that Pinkie Pie was already planning the party, and then we don't have a huge alteration to the episode. It's then, Rarity and Pinkie in one corner and the other three in the other corner, and Rainbow Dash in the middle.
So it'd be like Party Civil War goof-off style.
None
I think
survive.
that's basically what she wants.
Does anybody else have a suggestion for how we'd fix Jasper's complaint?
I actually really like your idea. Like, your idea is really, really interesting, and it would put the. It wouldn't take that much change of the narrative story, but it would also explain a little bit more. If we make it not so much that the town is going on the bandwagon, but just the main six wanted this new idea or a new suggestion, that could be a lot more interesting. And then if Pinkie Pie has a problem, it's much more personalized than, the whole town singing a huge song about her and then suddenly switching because they just met the new guy. That kind of groupthink mentality.
I think
Mob
it could.
mentality. Ain't it great?
If I may
Yeah, I
interject,
think it's like this pony just got in here and he says he's a party planner. Okay then, and then immediately everybody just jumps into it. Like I know in some of the later end, before this episode, everybody is kind of like too what's the word I'm looking for? They tend to just believe everything that any pony can say. So what if someone comes in and say that he's the greatest magician or whatever? They're going to believe him. I think some of them should have been like, oh no, but Pinkie Pie is the one that knows this or that knows how to make a real party or something like that. Instead, like Jasper said, they just jumped the wagon. So maybe just make some of the ponies be like hesitant about this new pony in Ponyville. Maybe.
Yeah, the only reason that I don't see that as much more of a bigger complaint of, oh, the town just suddenly forgot about Pinky, was the fact that, Twilight did actually come by and say, hey, are you going to help out with the party, cheese sandwich and whatnot? If none of the main six had come, then yeah, that would have been much more egregious problem. But the fact that Twilight did come, it's not the best. It wasn't the best possible solution, but it still works. I don't see as much of a big complaint.
Sure,
Could
that
I
was
talk
the
about
saving
something
grace.
that I would like to try and extend this conversation on, Liz?
I just wanted to make one little one-off comment first.
Okay.
Just wish Dash didn't have to do the whole comparison right in front of Pinky and force her to lick her own tears away. Alright, your turn.
Well, this could probably be a weird opinion that I have, but we don't know how long Pinky and the others have been living in Ponyville, so maybe people have grown accustomed to Pinky throwing parties all the time and doing that. But when Cheese Sandwich came in, he's the new guy. They may have just jumped on the bandwagon because it's a different change of pace from the normal. I mean, I don't know, but that's just my thoughts.
If I may,
I can cut. Oh, sorry.
if I deliver my own personal side on this, that's hype for you. Anybody who hypes up over anything, people will jump on a bandwagon. That happens in real life. Also, the real reason why Cheese Sandwich didn't mention his inspiration to Pinky is because of that competitive nature. And prior to that, he was busy setting up the party, unaware of how Pinky was feeling. So when he finally understands everything, that's when he reveals everything. It's more just the fact that he was focused on so many other things before he realized what was going on, and then finally confessed to Pinky.
Okay, that makes more sense. Just one more thing before I pass the gauntlet. It's going off of Shoujo's thing. I could kind of believe that, except they just got through singing a huge friggin' Beauty and the Beast ballad about how great Pinky is.
Granted, this is the town that jumps on every new bandwagon and all the new big explosive stuff that the writers write for the episode. So, do you expect for them to be any different?
Good point. So are these ponies or are they sheep? Ha cha 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 cha.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're kind of sheep because they follow anything that has a leadership, so...
So I guess if we're gonna continue our usual, I guess go from the bottom up. So I guess Brony Critic, and then we'll just go up and do our usual.
Yep, Jasper got first dibs because it's his episode. Bernie Critic, what are your initial thoughts?
Well, watching this episode, it really kind of put into perspective just how strong season 4 was as far as its episodes go. Because, like, if I remember correctly, like, all of the episodes were kind of of a similar quality to that one, for the most part. Like, obviously there were some stinkers, because there always are, but it really brought to my mind how good season 4 was, and how, like, because they were also doing that whole story narrative build-up. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, Golden Fox just mentioned, yeah, not every episode is going to be amazing, but, it's just, when I was watching this episode, I was just thoroughly enjoying myself. I was constantly laughing, constantly having fun. However, I do have the exact same issues with the episode that Jasper does. I love Fiaura's suggestion of having one of the main six bring him into the narrative. I think that would have been great. And as far as how we could have fixed Cheese Sandwich, his big twist, all he really needed to do was introduce introduce his backstory a little bit earlier. So, when he's explaining that whole how he was a party pony, we don't need him to lie and talk about how he was always a party pony. We have him mention how he once went to a great party and everything was awesome, everything was amazing. He just doesn't say where the party came from. And then at the end of the episode, he can reveal that he went to a Pinkie Pie party. And so we get that whole reveal. We don't have him lying about his backstory because there's no in-narrative reason for him to lie about his backstory. there's nothing in the narrative that explains it necessary or that requires it. It's just kind of a thing he does, I guess. And honestly, it seems like they were trying to make him a villain or more villainous or a rival, but that's not what the episode wanted to do at all. But, leaving aside those issues, it was still Weird Al Yankovic as a pony. Like, the man's already a cartoon character, so literally just making a character like that was just icing on the cake.
Don't you mean icing on the sandwich? Ha cha cha cha.
It's my turn.
Yeah,
Shoujo.
sorry, Shoujo. Sorry.
Well, what can I say about this episode that everybody already hasn't? It's a really good episode. I really wish, though, that they would have casted Weird Al in more roles, or at least we get to see Cheese Sandwich a lot more often than we have, because he's a funny guy. I may be pulling something from one of Josh Scorcher's reviews, but sometimes he was so vibrant in his dialogue that the motions and animations that were given to him weren't really that much expressive. So I really wish we could have gotten more of him in more episodes other than secluded in just this one episode. And I'll go off of what Brony Critic was saying, is that season 4 was a really, really good time because there was a lot of great episodes like this one. And while I did mention one of my sides onto one of the issues that I have with the episode, but trying to rationalize it through the way that the writers and the MLP staff write these things, I guess I could say it may be a cheap shot, but I don't get the joke that they were trying to make at the very end of the episode. I don't get what they were trying to reference or what they were trying to make fun of, I guess. Other than that, I thought it was a good episode.
I think that was more like a parody of another Western I can't think of. That was just like, I never learned that stranger's name, and
It was
really
The Man
work
with No
here,
Name.
but-
That was the movie. Man with No.
Oh,
Well, again, it doesn't really work here. It's a funny reference, but it don't work because she said and Cheese's name multiple times. She dedicated a whole song to tearing down his name, taking his name, building up his name, and then naming his name Susan.
and I think I forgot to mention, but I did really like all the musical parts of these episodes. I really do like the music that Daniel Ingram makes and produces for the show, and I find them really catchy at times. So they were good. Moon Knight, up to you.
I generally liked the episode when I first saw it. Watching it right now, yeah, I can see the problem with Cheese Sandwich not telling everyone that, well, basically Pinkie Pie kind of inspired him and made him what he is now. It's kind of a really, I want to say a word, but it's really kind of not the best way to act to, like, sort of your mentor, if you want to call it like that, because he was basically saying, "Oh yeah, I am the party pony. I am the best party pony. I am the one that has this tragic past." And yeah, Pinkie Pie also had that. Nah, that was me. That was me. It's like it's kind of not the best way to treat her if you're actually like saw her and got inspired by her. And then yeah, the part where everybody else just jumps into him, being like, "Oh, you're the best party pony." It's like you barely even know the guy. And you know Pinkie Pie for how long? And you're gonna teach her and make her cry just because? I mean, and then the key part, because of course the key part with the mystery box and somehow objects turn into keys, but yeah, we can leave that for another day. I think this episode overall was good. While the real live action, the gummy part and well, obviously Boneless, they were funny, but I do think they kind of break a little bit. The animation or like the pace of it, it's just kind of odd, out just a little bit. But overall, it was good.
All right, it's difficult to know where to start with this episode because I would say that this is probably ranks top 5 in the series overall. My top 5 favorite episodes of all time. This was just a very well executed episode. Even the minor stuff that I brought up. So, oh man, it's like where or nowhere to start. I think probably I'll say that this was probably Pinky's first really big major character development after Party of One, or this was one of her next big stages where when we learn, if we go back to Party of One, we realize that realize how self-conscious she can be when her friends are kind of not around her, or when that she's a more three-dimensional character, like she's not always happy, like she can express sadness or even madness. And then we come to this episode where excuse me, and we come to this episode where we all know that throughout the series, like, Pinkie Pie has been touted as the greatest party pony of all time, and then this pony comes in, and and her jealousy and sadness, it's a very realistic response where you've been working at a company for years, and suddenly this new big hotshot, he comes in and and you find out that, oh man, he's doing like better work than me, and so that kind of develops like a rivalry. So I think that's the whole rivalry was very realistic between Cheese and Pinkie Pie. Excuse me, jeez. What else do I want to say? The musical numbers I think were very well done. There was just so much energy in this episode with the music, the animation, the facial expressions, the over the top ones. I challenge you to a goof off. It was phenomenal. But I like a Weird Al's polka remix of Pinkie's Smile song. I also like the opening song, which is clearly an homage to the Bonjour song from Beauty and the Beast. Like every time I see that episode, all I can say is Bonjour, Bonjour, Bonjour.
There must be more to this equestrian life.
Exactly. Let's see. Anything else? Looking through my notes. Yeah, I think this is a very well executed episode, and like I said, top 5 favorite for me.
Okay. We've heard Jasper. Insane. What do you have to say about this episode?
I liked it, and I can add on to your idea about one of them bringing cheese from Appaloosa. They've got apple in their name. You could have had the birthday be Brayburn's birthday, and because they're related, Applejack was just there and she brings him in. As for the rest of it, I still think he should have told her at the beginning as not to break her heart. And my biggest problem with the episode, and it's a nitpick, but because I've seen him in so many things, I couldn't see Cheese Sandwich. I just saw Weird Al playing Weird Al. There he is in the recording booth, because it's just his voice on a pony.
It's like it's like it's like this character was designed around him, Egad.
Yeah, I get that, but I mean, like, when, let's say, Tara Strong does Twilight, for the most part, you can say that's Twilight. I see the pony. Sometimes she'll scream and it'll be like, hey, Timmy Turner showing a little bit. But with Weird Al, I mean, he's a crazy guy. You could have put on a little bit of a voice, because when you've heard him for so long, it was really hard to call him Cheese Sandwich and not Weird Al.
It doesn't help that he got an accordion. That's Weird Al's trademark.
And I didn't even know that.
Yep.
Well, he does all those polka parodies, so connect the dots.
Yeah, I think it being from another country, it's kind of difficult to know who that one is. But once I kind of like searched him, I some really goofy things around.
Okay. Is there anything fixed in the episode, or are we going to move on to Golden? Anything other than making it Brayburn's birthday? That just seems weird.
I mean, it does, but it's Appaloosa, and it'd be a good excuse for Applejack to be there and bring him in. As for, again, what I'd fix, I would just have I mean, somehow not be a dick at the beginning, because you didn't have to be that much of a dick. It did break Pinky's heart, and I don't know. That reveal at the end could have been done better to make it less mean-spirited to him at the beginning. Also, just a quick extra, we also found out in this episode that Berry Punch is actually immortal, because when Cheese is a little boy, she is just normal aged, and now he's fully grown. She is also just normal aged, so I guess alcohol is the fountain of youth.
Or another theory, and it's not Berry, it is her little offspring clone thing. She is monthly reproducing little mini berries. And soon she shall cover the world with berries and drown Equestria inside her. Now she will not share with anyone.
Or they just ran out of background ponies.
Now that brings up, is she basically a parasprite then? She just like drinks a bottle of alcohol and then burps up another Berry Punch.
Well, you know them alcoholics, they're the parasites of the world.
I think it's Golden's turn.
It is! Let's move on to
Yeah,
Golden
you
before
guys
we
have
start
always
talking
been
about
having me
alcoholism.
wait on the sidelines multiple times.
What was that, Golden?
I said this is the second time I'm waiting for my turn, and you guys are just going off tangents for like a good 5 minutes.
I know. Go ahead. It's your turn.
And anyways, if not for Hurricane Fluttershy, this episode would have been my favorite. It's right up there in my top 5 of the entire series. The songs are fun to listen to. They're catchy. The energy and the atmosphere is absolutely fantastic. Weird Al Yankovic comes in with a bang. I don't care if people see the pony as Weird Al Yankovic than Cheese Sandwich. Basically, I just think Cheese Sandwich is just Weird Al Yankovic. I think that it's like that's what they were designed to make him be. But give him a conflict or give him a purpose in the narrative. And just overall, it was just so much fun that there really isn't much else that hasn't been said already. I still stick with the guns that I believe that the reason why people were on the bandwagon is largely just due to hype. And hype happens with everybody. They fall into pretty much everything. They jump into hype with movies or parades or any kind of events. It's a thing that happens. It's no real ill will. People get carried away. And that's the thing with Cheese Sandwich. And I still believe that him being focused and getting so carried away with everything else and disregarding Pinky's feelings is part of the reason why I believed he didn't tell Pinky until he was able to see something a little more about Pinky than just directly telling Pinky his inspiration much earlier in the episode. As for anything that there needs to be improvement, this is one of those episodes where, while I don't say it's perfect, I still think it's a very solid episode, and I don't think there is much else that is needed. So, it sounds like a cop-out, but this is one of those episodes that's like, if I were to give it a rating, it's a perfect score, basically.
I approve.
If I may, going off of something that Golden said, an example of hype just going all over the place would be Kingdom Hearts 3. You've seen all those people getting hyped after 13 years of waiting for the game, and after seeing it, some people say it didn't live up to the hype. That's just an example that I seen.
Well,
You're talking to somebody who does not like Kingdom Hearts.
That's fine.
Listen, Shoujo, I'll tell you why. Have you seen the ending?
Nope. I am kind of trying to stay away from spoilers, so when I get to play the game, I experience it as genuinely.
This is a tangent.
I was gonna say, if you're going somewhere to take a left, then do not pass go. Do not collect $2,000.
All right. So, I guess it's my
Q&A
turn
time?
to go last, and then we'll move to Q&A. And I feel like I'm gonna get lynched for this. I don't like this episode.
Blasphemy!
Get your
I mean-
pitchforks.
I mean,
Why?
Burn
don't
the
you?
non-believer.
so I genuinely don't like most of the Pinkie Pie centered episodes, but this one, when I'm just casually watching through the show, just so I can go to sleep at night, I will actually get out from under the covers to skip it. Most of the things in this episode are executed pretty well. The songs are great. They have very good tempo shifts. They have incredibly well done plot threads as the song is inserted into the episode as a plot piece. However, Weird Al Yankovic is drastically underutilized. I mean, we're talking about the same guy who can sing about being tacky, or who came up with Amish Paradise. It feels like they didn't let him come up with his own way of doing things. They wrote lines for him and made him do the lines instead of letting him be just Weird Al, which just always feels disconcerting and just off to me as a fan of Weird Al to see Weird Al not be allowed to be himself.
I definitely see where you're going, but one question.
Sure.
Was this because of that alcohol crack?
No! This is legitimately how I feel about this episode. I don't like it because they basically inserted Weird Al into an episode and then drastically underutilized them. On the flip side, a different episode where they really utilized a voice actor to their full extent is the recent Kieran episode. Or if you want to go further back, the Leah Hall episode as Ra-Ra. They really utilize that voice actor's talents and their ability to do things. And then here in this episode, it's like they forgot that they were using Weird Al.
Of course, we all know the solution to this problem. Bring him back. Have him Weird Al it up one last
Budget.
time.
Okay. Concert cursor. They used him perfectly if he was a PG version of Jim Carrey.
So,
I'm still on my knees.
so what you're saying is you would prefer if it was more like the Deadpool movies where the actor of Ryan Reynolds is allowed to write a lot of the script because it's him acting out the scenes.
Yes, I would certainly have preferred it if Weird Al had just been allowed to sit down and just make massive changes because it's Weird Al. And just let him do Weird Al doing ponies. So because of that,
I had an idea.
the episode in
I'm not
of
gonna lie, I
itself,
definitely wanna-
like if you just take out Weird Al and insert another comedic voice actor in there, it works. And that's the problem. That's the problem I have. Is if I could insert a dozen comedians into the place of Weird Al to voice act those lines, and it would function.
That's pretty. Wait, before you say Jasper, that's pretty interesting because they were supposed to give this episode on the Spanish dub to a comedian here in Mexico, but I think they didn't at the end. I don't know what happened there, but I kind of see the point that if he was giving like the lines or anything, it really wouldn't have done like a big difference. I think the character is too. How should we call it? I mean, they give him some traits of Al, but yeah, I do see maybe him writing would have been a little bit more goofy and more fourth wall breakings, and I don't know, maybe he could have done something more for Pinkie Pie rather than just made her cry because everyone was mean to her.
And that's the other thing. He claims Pinkie Pie is his hero. Okay, why are you not idolizing your hero? I mean, they do also say never meet your heroes, but at the same time, if Pinkie Pie is your hero, if Pinkie Pie was your inspiration, why are you so determined to work alone? When
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like he's like, oh, you're my inspiration since I was a real colt. I saw you, it's like, then why are you treating her so badly, and why didn't you tell her since the beginning? That's kind
Right.
of, I'm going to say that's kind of a dickish move.
Kind of going off of what Golden brought up earlier, I don't think he was doing it on purpose, just kind of caught up because party ponies get kind of caught up in their work.
Yes, but if like Alex the Rambler or Matt Pat came up to me and said, "Hey, I want to do something. I hear you're doing something. I would like to be involved." I would literally be like, "What would you like to do?" Like no questions asked. But this seems like he just comes in, looks at his supposed hero, slaps her in the face, and goes, "No, I don't need you." Which is where the episode breaks for me because I go, that's not something Weird Al does.
Well, to kind of go off on your idea, like when you said like maybe he should have like that he didn't get there wasn't a lot to use for him. When I do think of Weird Al Yankovic, somehow I get like this image almost of like a Batmite sort of character. That if they really wanted to kind of go all out and just have him be sort of fourth wall breaky, goofy, running on parodies, which is his strong suit, maybe make him a Batmite character that's like analyzing the show. Like he's the world's biggest My Little Pony fan within their own universe. He's a fan of the show, but he's a fan of the show within the show.
Yeah, that would make, because Pinky breaks the fourth wall all the time, so it would make sense if Weird Al could break the fourth wall.
But don't they already have a Batman character of sorts with Discord?
A little bit, but he's sort of more antagonistic, where this would be just more of like a guy who's kind of, it would be a way for them to kind of poke fun at themselves, to make fun of the little tropes and what, because by season 4 they knew the fans were already there. Because I mean, when did episode 100 happen?
That was season 5.
So that was season 5. So this would have been a little bit before that point. But like by season 5 and 6, they were actively making episodes criticizing their own little narrative elements. It would have been kind of funny to see a character, making fun of the formula for My Little Pony right around the time in the same season where they completely shift up the formula.
That's actually fair.
Isn't that kind of what Apple Bloom does during Slice of Life? A little bit?
A little bit, but this would be like a whole episode where it's basically them basically crapping on themselves to say, yes, we know some of these things are stupid. We understand they're stupid, but if you just go with us, we'll have a fun time. And, having those moments there, kind of a moment to laugh at themselves. And using Weird Al Yankovic would give this very distinctive voice and allow him to kind of go on his full measure, because I guess he is a fan of the show.
Golden, you bring up an interesting thing here in our private discussion. Why do you think that wasn't his intention, and how do you think he was actually following Pinky's example when he told her he was going to do this by himself?
Because by comparison, Pinky is a local party planner, whereas Cheese Sandwich is a traveling party planner. And when you're traveling, you have to rely on yourself. Whereas Pinky, she's fully accustomed to what she does in her own area. So when it comes to him doing what he is accustomed to, that's part of him getting carried away, on top of unintentionally throwing Pinky out of the window of whatever hype is going on. That wasn't his intention. It's just him showing what he can do in front of several other citizens in the town.
I get it that he doesn't travel a lot, that he has to be like more independent and stuff, and he can't always like be like, oh, Pinkie Pie. But it was in front of him. Like, he clearly saw that he was like going over to be like I'm the best party pony ever. I'm the best in Equestria. I have this tragic past. And Pinkie Pie is like, oh yeah, I also have. Oh yeah, it's okay. Oh yeah, I also had it. Don't worry. It's like if she was his big inspiration, his like moment of illumination. That's why I'm going to be. I'm going to be a party pony that goes around Equestria. It's like, why are you treating her so bad? Like, I don't think it was kind of intentional, and it's kind of to do with the bad writing at the end because it's like, oh, suddenly she was his inspiration, and that's why he became this. No, and even if Pinkie Pie was a little bit like on her comfort zone, she kind of really isn't because she's gone through Cranky Little Donkey, who wasn't really a laugh. Well, he didn't even laugh at anything. And then we have that she also organized a wedding at the Canterlot, so she's not only a local, and she's been to many parts of Equestria. Granted, not as the party pony or organizing all the parties on all the places she's been, but she does know of Equestria and she does know how to like cheer up everyone or different kinds of ponies. So why make her cry and make her feel as if she's nothing compared to Cheese Sandwich, where where they could have been like, oh, I want to organize this super party, but I don't know Rainbow Dash as much as you do. Maybe you can help me know what she actually enjoys because I'm just a total stranger and I don't know her at all. That could have been a little bit better on the story.
All right.
You're also looking at an episode that only has 22 minutes to explain whatever it is that could be done. And even if it was true that he just threw Pinky out the window, even if it's just ill-intended, he apologized later in the episode. And I think that's something that you really ought to be more grateful for than just dwelling on this little moment that he did.
I think it's the actually the intro and the ending of the episode are kind of the most telling of his character. You just think about it, in the intro, it opens up on Appaloosa. They're throwing a big old parties going on, and he just kind of leaves in the middle of it. You know, Chewie he wants to see ponies happy. You know, it's a big old parties and whatnot, but you know, that's just his character. He's just this mysterious stranger who wanders into town. And he's like, "Hey, let's have a party," and he builds up the party, sets it up, and he's like, "Well, my work here is done. Time for me to go on to the next area." Same thing here, where at Bingy's party, you know, he didn't stay until the end of the party. He left kind of near the end, but you see what I mean. But I think it's very telling of his character that, you know, he's the kind of guy who like, I'm just going to town, making ponies happy, do my job, and skedaddle.
I think from listening to everybody like go back and forth on this, I think it might be the fact that the ending and the beginning were just made on 2 different days. Because that ending where he's like, "Oh my god, you're my inspiration, you're what caused me to go out there, do my thing, and it's great." If you'd made that ending first and then you come back to doing the beginning, even if it's not something big, just seeing the inspiration, you'd be like, "Oh hey," even if you want to keep up the facade that she's not, you would be like, "Oh hey, Pinkie Pie, I've heard of you. I've heard you're quite famous." He in himself might want to be like, "Oh my god, Pinkie Pie, you're amazing, you're the best." But even if he's being restrained and keeping that facade, it would have been better at the beginning to just say like, "Oh yeah, Pinkie Pie, I know you. I've heard you're nearly as good as me. You're pretty famous." Just to have the acknowledgement that he knows her, because it makes the beginning and the ending feel either disjointed or 2 different people made the 2 different sections.
I mean, I can see the point because at the beginning it's about parties, and then suddenly, oh, you need the key. How do I get Pinky the key? Oh yeah, you're my inspiration, and I give you this rubber chicken. I can kind of see that they did it like with different intentions, the beginning and the ending.
Okay. Well, does anyone else have any other comments on this episode before we get to Q&A?
I do want to say the one part where Derpy was drinking out of the chocolate fountain. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to do that more than once. Live the dream, Derpy. Live the dream.
Okay, so for Q&A, we have first question is from Jesse Barr. Which of the songs in this episode was your favorite?
For me, it's kind of a tie between Pinky's Lament, The Goof Off, and Make a Wish.
Get your who's up, party started now, right now. Na 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 na.
Exactly.
Make a wish. Favorite of mine.
Goof off. I think it's kind of a big one. It's like the big confrontation, and I know who say like it's kind of a battle without it being a battle. So it was pretty fun, especially the last part. I'm totally not biased because I speak Spanish.
I'd have to go with either the first one or Make a Wish.
I'd have to go with I think we called it Pinky's Lament, where she sings about being sad and depressed and then uses the song to change the tempo to get in the mood to fight for what she believes is hers. It's this whole, like, the entirety of Pinky's feelings. Again, I think this is the only character they've really ever done this with, where everything this character is and feels is defined by a single song. They did it with Smile, Smile, Smile earlier in the series, and now they're doing it again with the same character, where she just sings her way through her feelings.
Where she smothers a balloon to death. Shh, 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 just deflate. Don't think about it.
No, it's wait. On that part, look, on that part of Pinky's Lament, tell me I'm not the only one that's thinking something like when she says, I gotta put my party cannon, I gotta, like something about keeping the party cannon in and getting away, like throwing away the balloons or something, and then it deflates. It's like, it's kind of odd to me.
But going back to what you were talking about with Pinky's Lament, yeah, that I would say probably that's my second favorite song of the episode, where you think about how Pinky's foalhood, her upbringing, where she originally grew up on a depressing rock farm, where where she literally says there was no smiling or anything, and then one day she found her cutie mark in partying, and over the series now we understand like why partying means so much to her, and why we can understand her realistic response of being so competitive against Cheese. It's like, hey, like I mentioned earlier, how, hey, this guy's moseying into my territory. I'm supposed to be the best, and everything goes all downhill eventually at the end of the goof off. And her leaving was actually, again, a realistic penance where, what, my pride got my way. I don't know what I was thinking. This is my penance. I'm going to leave for a while, and yeah, that's why I love the song, and I love the overall moral of the episode.
Okay. This one's from Magical Starfish. Would you prefer your party planned by Pinky or Cheese?
If I may quote the Road to El Dorado, both is good.
Both is good.
Both is good.
Both is good.
I
Yeah.
Uh,
I agree with both.
I definitely just want them to have a goof off as my party. Like, nothing else. Just have a goof off as my party. I'm good.
So you want them to throw you around and potentially put you in physical danger?
Hey.
And the ultimate party!
It's not a party unless someone goes to the hospital or the morgue.
Dark.
And
That's
yet true to life.
That's coming from the bartender at most of these conventions. Next question is from Skullman. What is the first episode you watched?
My first episode was the Pinky Sense episode from season 1.
Feeling
Mine-
Pinky King?
Go on, Golan.
Oh, sorry. No, my first episode of the entire series was the pilot episode. I watched the whole series chronologically.
Mine, because it's not on English TV that much, was ironically last week's episode, Hurricane Fluttershy, which then I got into it and went back to the pilot episode and started watching through them on definitely totally legal sites.
Right. Definitely, totally legal sites. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Leave the key under the mat.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. For me, it was actually Party of One. That was the first episode I ever saw.
Oh, God.
It's the first episode. The question is, which was the first episode we watched? Sorry.
The first episode you ever watched.
Oh, Jasper, if you think that one was bad, mine was Lesson Zero, followed by Heartswarming Eve, and then I watched all the episodes through a legal mean, YouTube, because they were uploaded there and they didn't took them down until like much later on, and then I got caught up and I watched Royal Wedding and all that.
It's hard for me to say because, as I said in one of my videos on my channel, I was watching people review episodes instead of watching the episodes myself, and then I got interested in seeing what the show was all about. So I watched the first episode, the pilot episode, to see if I would like it or not, and then I tried to watch them in chronological order. So I don't know if I watched any episodes before I seen people review them. So I have to go with the first episode.
So my first episode was at BabsCon 2016. I was expected to MC during the commercials of the episode that premiered that weekend, which was Tanks for the Memories, and a Discovery Family Guy had actually brought it to BabsCon. I hadn't watched the show at all before that. I was up there playing Queen Quake, MCing this, and had never watched the show. I had to sit there and carefully memorize the characters' names as fast as possible.
This is Rainbow Rarity. This is Apple Star.
This is Pinky Light.
This is Mr. Turtle, and he's dead.
So wait, I gotta ask, since you brought it up, you've never seen a single episode of the series, yet you went to a Brony convention.
I was invited as a professional actress to play a mascot.
Ah, okay.
That included stage play and voice acting for animations. I even had to sing a song as said character.
Oh, okay.
I just realized... Oh, sorry.
No, I was done.
I just realized we missed the obvious joke.
What?
And this is the Krusty Krab? No, this is Patrick.
I can't believe I didn't think of that.
I hate all
Good one,
of you
Jasper.
so much. No, I love all of you. Alright, what character... What about the one character from... Okay, that's off topic. Drinking Buddy would like to know if Mr. Pie, given that alcoholics are the scum of the world, would you still join him for a drink?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Drinking Buddy would like to know that given that alcoholics are the scum of the world, would you still sit down and join him for a drink?
Maybe, but I'll be the nun drinking the chocolate milk through a sippy straw.
Hey.
No, I don't.
Hey. You can ask Lightning Bliss. We went to a diner at Nightmare Nights, and I looked up and said, I'll have chocolate milk because I'm 3. And everyone at the table ordered chocolate milk.
Can I still have the sippy straw?
Yes.
I like the feeling straw with your juice in it.
Alright, so,
I'll just do a World's End. I'll just have a glass of water, please.
So I've been putting off this question because I've been sitting here trying not to cry. Big Jim, you're a dick. You could have waited. Having just tweeted out 45.
Be gone from the arch.
Having had it tweeted out 45 minutes ago, how do all of you feel about season 9 officially being the last season?
It's not.
I have the feeling I'm gonna owe people a bunch of cookies because I kept brushing it off as a stupid rumor.
It's gonna be a huge pill to swallow,
okay,
but it's inevitable.
I'm gonna break it to you all. The official My Little Pony. I don't know if it was the official My Little Pony Twitter, but I think it was one of the official sources that said that it's going to be the last season. Yet, they're still going to put more content out, and the movie apparently is still going to be Gen 4. So, I think it's just going to be a Gen 4.5 where they may change like the art style and everything to fit the movie and make it like 3D animation or something else, because we all know that Flash is long overdue and that it's already done, and that program is well, it may still be used, it's ended its lifetime, so they want to change to something else, and that's why they used Boom Harmony, what's called the Milestone movie engine. Yeah,
And-
that's why they changed the engine for that one.
And from a pure marketing standpoint, if we just think from Hasbro's perspective for a moment, they would be morons not to try to keep at least most, if not all, of the same elements from Gen 4 in some capacity, because they know that there's literally a consistent fandom that prints consistent money for them. And the thing that they can do right now is it's been 9 seasons. It's been almost 10 years since the show started up. Actually, I think it's a little over 10 years almost.
Yeah, we had a skip year.
Oh yeah, we had a skip year. So it's been 10 years, but that means that the little girls who started the show are teenagers now.
No, the little girls who started the show are college freshmen.
Right. Well, if they start the show up again with a new generation, they can start a new generation of young girls on the show, because that is still their target demographic. But now that they know that there does still exist this larger fandom, they can maybe cater from the initial onset of the show towards that fandom a little bit too. Maybe strike a closer balance to what maybe, I don't know, Lauren Faust wanted in the original. Her original idea would have been much more of a generalized show based less on demographics. They now know that people can watch a My Little Pony show as long as it has great characters, good world building, all the things we love the show for. So I think they'd be crazy to just go up and do Gen 5. We're going to ignore the last 10 years of the show and just do something else. So it'll probably be a Gen 4.5. And as far as my feelings on Gen 9, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. We got 9 years of a children's show. Probably the only shows that have lasted longer than that I can think of are the shows like SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents, The Simpsons, those Adventure Time, Phineas and Ferb, and most of those shows didn't end up all that good. They kind of lost their momentum. The fact that My Little Pony has maintained their momentum for the most part is wonderful, and I would love to just see them, if they can end the story on a good, awesome high point, and then maybe come back 10, 15, 20 years later in universe, show the main 6 still around, but as side characters to a new cast. I think they could do that, and it'd be perfectly fine. The My Little Pony, The Next Generation. They could absolutely let that fly, and I think they would get the fans' support. They'd have new characters, new narratives to try, and we as fans would still feel a connection to the overall world and universe, and thus feel okay in supporting it, because I don't plan on stopping to not watch My Little Pony stuff, or I don't think that fan material is going to stop anytime soon just because the show is over. So even if the show ends, the world's going to be fine.
Critic,
Jasper is not ready to die.
Are you saying that this is what the suggestion you would think would work for Generation 5? Because they've announced what the new characters are, and technically they're the same named characters from the previous generation.
What do you mean by new characters?
Wait, they've already.
They have Twilight, they have Applejack, and they're part of Generation 5. and they're completely different.
Really?
I mean,
'Cause
they
I looked
haven't
at
said
that-
that it's a Gen 5. They're just saying they just announced the movie thing.
Yeah, all they've announced that's official is that they're going to do a second Gen 4 movie. They haven't announced what
Like,
that movie is, but they're doing it.
They have said that it's going to be CGI 3D. So I do think either that's going to be the new style for Gen 4.5 or 5, if you want to call it like that. But I do think they're going to keep most of the characters, and I think they're going to go more with the student thing. Like, they're going to try to get new characters in, because honestly, yeah, we like the main six, but I think that at times we would like to see a little bit, a different perspective of stuff, like we've seen with the students.
Okay, so for a start, I highly doubt they're going to do a CGI.
They
show.
announced it's CGI.
Show.
The movie. Oh, the show. Yeah.
Because
the show.
because Code Lyoko and the original reboot and any other CGI based show, those are super expensive, like obscenely expensive.
They're super expensive, but then again, we have Hasbro, that is like a global corporation that has got celebrities into this show. Not even the movie, like just in the show, get them to like record some lines and stuff. That doesn't take you like a minimum amount of money. Like, maybe they have some budget issues because they want to get some of these personalities back to reprise their roles. That is kind of understandable. Maybe they have a different agenda, but
no, it's not expensive because of the voice actors at all. That's the cheapest part. The animation itself is incredibly expensive. Just running a single computer rendering 1 minute of CGI footage costs so much money, because it's just not feasible, because you literally just have to have a guy sitting there for 9 to 12 hours monitoring the render. And so you're just paying that guy just to sit there, and he has all the other talents to make all of that happen. To render a single minute of CGI footage is something like 2,000 plus man hours. So
I think that's why they're relying, at least for the movie. I think that's why they were relying on another studio. Like, they're not doing it in house. I think that could be a solution.
No, they're doing it in house. They own Allspark.
This
is all in house.
Then there you got it. Like, they got another studio that takes care of the animation.
The point is, a CGI TV show is incredibly like obscene expense, because you have to have a team of those animators to build 1 minute of footage at a time and then render it all together. It can take, like, The Incredibles movie is one of the most expensive CGI movies ever done, and Incredibles 2 was even more expensive. And we're talking like more than live action movies at this point, because of how many people with extremely high degrees of talent and education have to be sitting in there on those computers rendering that stuff. And it can take, I know for a fact it takes Menti Root something like 1,000 man hours to do a minute of footage by himself. So you're looking at 1,000 man hours per minute, and every one of those people are getting paid $30 to $40 an hour.
What should we call it? I don't know that it takes a lot of time to animate for animation. Like, I've seen a ton of. I know how it's done. I know that it takes a lot of time, that you have to get a ton of resources. But then there's also the render farms, because big companies don't only have, this random guy just in this one supercomputer. No, they actually have render farms.
I know that, but understand what I am saying is, doing that for a TV show, those are the most expensive TV shows ever done. Code Lyoko is the most expensive animated TV show ever done, or dang close to it. And Reboot, at the time when it was done in the 90s, was so expensive they couldn't afford to do more than 3 seasons. Like, they couldn't physically afford to pay to produce it, because it was costing them more than a triple budget Hollywood movie.
What about Jimmy Neutron?
Anyway, do we have any more questions?
No, that was actually the last question. Jimmy
Do you want to do the artwork?
Jimmy Neutron cost $27 million to animate per season.
And it also had one other element in that it had a really strong opening on for the show. It was a new property, but it also had a Nickelodeon movie around it. They did really good marketing with it. The problem with CGI shows, they can work, but if they don't if they don't start from the ground running, they will die in their cradle. That was the problem with Code Lyoko. It was a show that was really hard for people to get into, and so even though it was good, it was hard for people to get into, and it didn't start off very strong. And so that kind of colored the studio's perception on being able to continue it on. If a CGI show doesn't start off amazing from the start, it's very likely it'll get canceled before it even gets off the ground. So it would be a real risk for the new My Little Pony, especially because we're not sure if they're going to keep the quality of Gen 4, because I'm sorry to say this, it could be Gen 4, it could also be Gen 3.5.
And in the meantime,
I think I just threw up a bit in my mouth.
my opinion of this is Hasbro's being stupid. Like,
When have they not?
Straight up.
When have they not?
When they made those new Power Ranger figures, those are pretty nice looking.
This looks like to me like the same kind of move that say WizKids did with MechWarrior in the early 2000s, where they switched everything to be cheaper for them, and then on our end we all stopped being interested because we didn't like that everything was cheaper.
I had Jake Long.
I get that Adobe's not supporting Flash anymore, but there's been no replacement for it yet that is, easily accessible.
Toon Boom.
Toon Boom is not easily accessible, and we were going to animate something in Toon Boom and we couldn't do it. Like, the BabsCon had like 5 people working on this project, and we scrapped the whole thing and went back and used Flash.
Okay. Thing is, they do have some experience with it because it's the same team that worked on the movie. So,
yes, but to me, I'm just wondering why they don't just use. And this is my biggest open complaint. My Little Pony has such a fandom around it at this point that it would make more sense to continue the series and flip off and if you wanted to do something for younger, newer audiences, use Equestria Girls. It's there, use it. But at this point in time, it makes no sense to end the show when, yes, BronyCon. This is BronyCon's last year. That's for financial reasons of the Baltimore Civic Center. More than anything else that BronyCon could do, it's literally just that Civic Center is terrible and super expensive. But at the same time, there's 3 new My Little Pony conventions this year, all in the States, and last year we had 2 new ones. So it's not that the fandom's going anywhere. And as some people that I've seen pop up on my phone on Twitter since we've been sitting here talking, or some of you have mentioned, we have virtually the infinite power of fan content to create. Team Fortress 2 still makes fan content to this day. That's a 20-year-old game. People are making fan content with Halo to this day. I mean, Red vs. Blue is still a series that it continues to go, and I just look up and go, how? And then I realize that there are genuine fans of Halo and Team Fortress 2, and there's still a very healthy player base, and there's still a very healthy viewer base for My Little Pony. So I don't see fan content going anywhere, and I see it as becoming more relevant now that there aren't new episodes that are going to be coming out after this year.
And
Go on, sorry.
I was going to say that there is another element that we also have to consider. If the show's not going on, that means there might be a little bit more freedom with regards to what Hasbro might allow as fan content. Because if they're no longer actively using a lot of the assets, they might not be quite so stringent and controlling in the overall use of it. Like, obviously there will still be to some degree, but I wouldn't be surprised if we'd get more Flash-looking animations going through in the future, simply because, hey, well, they're not using those assets anymore. They're not making any money off them anymore.
So now I just have this.
Wait. I have the answer to that, and I think Spire's going to say the same. Do you think? Go on, sorry.
I have an answer to this, but go ahead.
Two things. First of all, do you think that Nintendo let the guys that did the another Metroid 2 remake go away with it just because they hadn't used really that game in a long time? No, they just straight up went and DMCA them and cease and desist them because they were pissed that they could do a better job than they did, and they would never admit it. So I think Hasbro is kind of the same mentality where they are too proud and they can't accept that someone else can do, if not a better job, but at least a decent job in something a little bit more creative than them. And the thing with Hasbro and them like just cutting off with this gen, I think it's more to do with the back part and the side of the you know the guys that move the money behind everything, because that's kind of what's going on with some of the game companies right now. Like, you think this idea is so stupid? Why are they doing this? Why do they like just get 800 people unemployed if they're saying they're getting tons of money? No, it's because the people behind them are telling them to. That's why things like this happen, and they can be a little bit illogical. But I mean, that's what they're trying to do to get more money. I guess that's the reason.
And
Hashtag pity party.
On a different note, that kind of explains why Bethesda was a pain in the ass for me to get a license to publish a book, but Hasbro at this point was like, yeah, sure, just give us money, whatever. And I just went, I only had to talk to one lawyer from Hasbro. I had to talk to 17 from Bethesda and one from ZeniMax.
Did you talk to Todd Howard?
Do what?
Todd Howard?
No. But I fully intend to send a copy of the book to his front desk.
Are you gonna leave a little personal message in it?
I'm not that arrogant.
Do it.
But I will send it to his front desk, and it may say inside how to make a better Fallout 4.
Oh!
Now, in the meantime, we have a piece of artwork here, and
You know
I'm
response will be?
super traumatized.
You know what his response will be? He'll just send the book back to you and say, maybe I'll listen if you buy another copy of Skyrim.
May I interest you in another copy of Skyrim?
Anyway, the artwork, my good sir. Tell us this masterpiece.
Yes, you're all now allowed to look at the art chat because you're all spoiling yourselves. But it just come from last week when we were talking about the safety method of taking the water from the ground to the earth. And because Sunrise is a science pony, she there's no such thing as science in Equestria. It's all magic.
What did you do to my cutie mark? I look like you turned it into a screw bomb.
Yes.
Oh my god, you made me a screwball! Wow!
Yes, because you're talking this magic of science. There's no such thing as science. It's magic.
I'm just gonna save this now, and
I think Fiaura just broke.
I've got a second thing, which is going to be even better for you all.
Oh
So,
boy. Oddly enough, this is the least disturbing thing Insane No's ever made.
that's true. This is the least disturbing piece of artwork he's ever made. Congratulations, you only traumatized one person.
Oh no, you're not paying close enough attention because one of those workers is rather traumatized himself. I think you should zoom in to the orange bottle.
Oh no, I read
Yeah.
the orange bottle. Sunrise's Secret After Dark barbecue sauce. No, I read the
Oh
orange bottle.
my.
I was wrong! I was very wrong!
I didn't even notice that at first.
But because she always talks this nonsense of science, whatever that is, I decided to go one better for everybody. So eventually we could get this as a Twitch emo and in Fiaura's chat. Here is the transparent.
I'm just gonna add this to my Discord, and then as soon as I get more, that's not a transparency.
No, that's a blue one if anybody needs.
I need an actual transparency.
Yes,
God.
a blue transparency. Here's a transparency. It's blue, so therefore it's not a transparency.
Yeah, the blue ones if anybody wants the blue screen, but there's the transparent one as well.
Do I want the alpha channel or do I want the green screen? What do I want?
All right. So, does anybody have any final parting thoughts they want to add to this this little episode of ours? Because we're well over the hour and a half mark at this point. Oh,
It's going.
Josh Scorcher and Ari, the fiery secretary, will be here next week as our guests.
Yay.
Fanboy.
I need pictures of them both.
I didn't really get to say my piece, but I'm just really sad that it's ending so quickly and that I joined the ride so late. That I only joined around season 6 and season 7, and I didn't get to experience everything else up till now.
I am sad that it took me a year and a half to decide to do content for this.
I'm sad that I didn't make my Jasper character relevant until after season 6.
Yeah, it took me till mid-season 6 before I started making stuff on a regular basis. And I'm still going to keep making stuff. Don't worry about that. It's just, So...
We should have done more.
Yes.
Well,
I'm
with
the
Gen
exact
5
same.
with Gen 5 coming in, I'm sure you guys will still have the chance to, produce content at a time when MOP is still relevant and active.
We just have to hope that Gen 5 is good.
Fingers crossed.
Hooves crossed.
So there's
Yeah,
this...
don't you mean hooves crossed? You have to say
There's-
hooves crossed.
Hold on.
I think I
So,
And if
I
not,
think
there's
I
always
crossed
fan
out.
fiction.
Guys, let Fiaura talk.
so there's this giant exasperated exhale and tear-filled eyes, and then there's all of us looking up, holding up a lighter with our fingers crossed. Please make Gen 5 just as good or better. That's all we ask. And there's your vectors of those two. And in the meantime, Bernie Critic, go ahead and see us out. Tell us what you got coming.
All right, guys. I am the Baroni Critic. I have finished up my script for my latest review. I just need to send it to somebody to look over and edit. I plan to have a guest on for this review. So I'm really excited about it. I'm also doing a little bit more writing, and maybe now with the show wrapping up, I'll be able to focus some more of the elements onto my fan fiction. And that's ultimately my biggest takeaway is even if Gen 5 isn't good, we'll always have fan fiction. You guys can follow me on YouTube at the Brony Critic. You can also follow me on Twitter at the Brony Critic.
My turn?
Shoujo.
Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Reviewers Web. I really did have a fun time being here, and I'm sorry that I didn't make it to the last one. Things just got out of control, and things came up to where I couldn't be here, but I'm glad I was here for this one. You can find me on the YouTube, that's Shoujo, the Twitters at Shoujo Games, because someone already had Shoujo as their thing, and on the Twitch, I'm trying to figure out a way to maybe possibly stream an editing stream of editing my next review of Suited for Success on Twitch. I'm drawing up blanks right now, but hopefully I can get in a stream of that. And besides the review of Suited for Success, I got a few collabs that I'm going to be working on with some friends from the Rift City, so keep an eye out for them. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next live stream. Moon Knight.
Moon Knight, thank you all for watching this episode. It was a really good podcast. I'm going to try to put out some videos. It's going to be a little bit complicated because I'm actually in the process of moving to another state and getting an actual job after finishing college. So, yay! I guess. Yeah, I have my YouTube channel. I have also my Twitter if you want to see some of the stuff that I post here and there. But yeah, I'll be trying to post more content, knowing that now we only have one season left. But maybe Gen 5 would not be that bad. Who knows? Well, see ya.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us again. This has been your Ace Analyst Master Code, and yes, we've had a fun day today. But it's also had a very sad day at the same time, realizing that MLP is now ending. But hey, remember, you can follow me on all the YouTubes and the Twitters. In terms of future projects, I'm going to be reviewing the Nightmare Nights comics. Going to be reviewing collabing on the season 9 opener with someone. Not going to reveal who yet. But anyway, my last note on MLP ending, all I can say is, panic, everybody panic, run away, get out of here, everybody.
No, somebody gag him.
Stars again,
Everything's gonna be fine! Everything's okay! You're gonna be all pretty and stop panicking!
We like gag ball or
Jasper, please outro us. Please outro us.
I will outro you. So, this has been the Pizza Pawn, and thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Comic commissions will resume this week. On the ground, all I need is time, motivation, and money. But in all seriousness, also keep an eye out because I do have a prank call video in the works. Just wait until the other guy finishes with the video editing. So, in the meantime, live long, propane, eat pizza, and don't throw firecrackers at pigeons.
this burp approves that.
Insane.
First of all, oh god, that purple one's main. That looks like it's going to be a fun time. But I am Insane Spyro, the greatest dragon in gaming, and I'm sure that me and my magic paintbrush can pull it off, whatever I come to mind. And as for what I'm doing, I am doing video reviews and let's plays and stuff on my YouTube channel, with upcoming things being a first impressions of Yoshi's Crafted World tomorrow. Aw, it was adorable. As well as a couple of things that I want to talk about from Nintendo's Direct, like Mario Maker 2. Also, Tetris now has a Battle Royale. That is all.
I'm not going to question this. I'm just going to pass the microphone to Golden Fox.
Thank you for joining in on this podcast, and I hope to see you next time. In the meantime, you can check out You can check out my content on my main channel where I have main stuff, my secondary channel where I share recorded Let's Plays, and my Twitch channel where I actually stream Let's Plays. Until then, I hope you have a good one. Good lord, I sounded like Porky Pig on this one.
And I have been your host, Fiaura the Tank Girl. You can check out my YouTube channel where I will be posting tomorrow, quote-unquote, the HarmonyCon staff party highlights. I have permission from HarmonyCon to post this. It's going to be great. And in the meantime, I also do post this podcast as well as I do stream Fallout Equestria, and I am, as I said earlier, Hasbro. This explains why Hasbro made it so easy for me to publish a Fallout Equestria book and why Bethesda was a pain in my butt. But if you want to read the book before it's out, I do have the full story up on FemFiction, and I'm continuing to publish chapters. Mr. Numbers has promised that he will have it edited tonight, and the next chapter will be out sometime tomorrow. So that's about everything I can think of. Oh, I'll be at Winnie City and BabsCon and Everfree and MLP MSP. I'll be at basically every PonyCon in the States this year, and possibly 2 out of the United States too. Yay, England.
Yeah.
It's I wish I could go to.
I mean, does anybody want the last word, or do I just press the big red button?
It's a good book. It's a good book. It's a good book.
Wow, look at that. It's like everybody's fighting over a piece of meat.
This one. just end by showing this. That no context. That's all.
I approve.
I'm sorry. What am I watching here? Just
It don't matter. That's how you end it. No context.
why does the milk not spill?
It's
Why are you questioning the logic of an image that nobody knows about?
You don't care about the milk!
Oh wait, never mind. It's already showed on the screen.